everybody knows the way Nigeria is governed today. If you could briefly give us from your understanding, a brief insight into the Yoruba-Igbo relationship, and you can summarize that by, letting us know your viewpoint on restructuring vis-a-vis self-determination within the Nigerian context. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, I think the Yoruba people have a very good relationship with the Igbo people. If I'm not deeper in the relationship we have between the independent and after independence, I have an insight of what happened when I was very young in the school days. And by then, we have a very good and robust relationship with the Igbo people. Because in Lagos by then, the issue of tribalism did not shine in our character. But talking of when I grew up, I involved in activism within the context of Nigeria. I'm the leaders of one of the socio-cultural groups in Yoruba. In 2013, we have the organization that was formed in Ike. We call it the Southern Nigerian Congress, which was formed in the house of Chief Obafemi Awolowo. We have 50 people in the south, we have 30 in the east, and another 50% in the southwest. That gives us room to have a solid relationship in this Nigeria. The first meeting was held in Uyo, and we issued a communique that we Nigeria are ready to stand on unity to move on progress so that they can have a very good Nigeria. The second one was held in Owerri, and the third one was held in Asaba. The last one was in Lagos. So from that moment, there was a very good meeting within the entire zones in Nigeria. We decided to have the same aims and objectives so we can move this country forward. I was one of the delegates in the national conference. I know what happened in the national conference with the of the entire zone in southern Nigeria. What happened in 2014 national conference could have not been achieved. At the end of the day, we moved some product from the middle belts to join hands to build a very good unity so that we can move Nigeria forward. And I was one of a delegate because later our leaders, Chief Ajo, built another structure of Southern Nigeria's organization, which I was privileged to be one of them before I became Aare and believe that group have grown to the extent that they brought middle belt group. And when you are talking of unity in the Igbo Yoruba land, it is very difficult to separate us from the Igbos because we have intermarried, we have done business together, and we do a lot of things in common, even beyond Nigeria as a country. I'm a regular traveler. I travel to more than 55 countries. I have a group called Oduduwa Progressive Union in 92 countries. And that gives me an insight, the relationship the Yoruba people in diaspora have with the Igbo people, especially in Europe. Anything you are doing in Europe as a Yoruba social-cultural group, without recognizing the Igbo, you may not achieve your target or your aim in that organization. And talking about what happened recently is something that is alien to our relationship. And that was one of the reasons we immediately debunked that garbage propaganda. The level we have now, if you have a strained relationship with the Igbo, it will affect our cause. If we are not united with the Igbo, it will draw us back because we share the same pain in the terms of a free for Nigeria. That would drive me to a position of ideology, restructuring, and self-determination. Through the structure of the organization we have with the Igbo people, we'll be able to discuss and share the same ideology. The ideology that Nigeria must be restructured in all ways so that Nigeria can move forward. And what kind of restructure are we talking about? Because when you are asking for restructure, you have to let people know the kind of restructuring you are having, you are agitating for. You have for restructuring on the basis of statism, and that will even compound our problem more where we are in Nigeria. But in my own belief and people of Southwest, what we are agitating for is that Nigeria should be restructured to regionalism, because we know where we're coming from. If you don't know where you are coming from, you won't know where you are going. The agreement of where we're going tonight.
Can you please unmute him? Somebody muted him.
Sorry, can you unmute?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're calling for restructuring based on how Nigeria can be restructured to regionalism. How the 6 federating units can go to the region so that we can develop at our own pace. So that we will decide the quota of what we generated from our region, what will be to the central. But we realized that the northern Nigeria was not keen to restructuring. Anytime we are asking for restructuring, they always put impediment to our ways. And on that regard, we are saying that it is dangerous to antagonize restructuring now. If you allow us to restructure this country, if you don't agree with us to restructure this country, we may be calling for self-determination. And you can see the way different organizations have been calling for self-determination in Nigeria. Because if you don't allow us to move forward, we decided how we can have our entity as a country to build for a nation that we are aspiring for. Because everyone knows that it's coming forward now. There's no doubt in it. Every situation is in the stage of comatose. Economic situation is in the stage of comatose. Security, there's a lot of insecurity everywhere. And the kind of image that Nigeria have is not a good image that any right-thinking person should add up as a nation. For us to move forward as a nation, if we agree on restructuring, I'm afraid our people will be calling for self-determination so that they can have promising nation that they can be proud of in future.
Thank you very much. So, in summary, before I take this question, then I can hand over to my good brother, Chief Dele Momodu. So, before I take, based on what you have said, did I understand you right that you, with the Yoruba nation, favor self-determination as opposed to restructuring, which, in your words, appears to have failed the Yoruba nation? Is that correct?
Well, we have it in 2 ways. Certain people believe in restructuring. Certain people believe in self-determination. But our own position is that if the Nigerian as a country, especially the North, didn't want this country to structure, I think the next stage of our struggle is to start agitating for self-determination. Because every nationality is determining the future of their own nationalities. And in the situation that we realize that most of the Yoruba are infiltrated by the criminal Fulani, we have to look for a way to build a very good security architecture so that our people live peace and harmony. Our people can be protected anytime when notice a security. The economic issue, most of our content that we used to build an institution when we have in 1951 to 1959 through the self-government bastardized by kind of a structure we call a unity
Ben, can you mute everyone else?
Up and down.
Ben, Ben, can you mute everyone else?
Iba Gani, sorry, sir. Sorry about that disruption. Please, the back office, if anyone unmutes themselves and disrupt this meeting, please just remove that person from this meeting. Thank you. Chief, you can continue, please. Sorry, Aare Onakakamfo, you are muted. Can you unmute yourself, sir?
Okay.
Okay.
We realize the 99 institution given to us based on this democracy can never move Nigeria forward. And that was one of the reasons that I was one of the delegates of the National Conference. We recommend about 64 countries to move Nigeria forward. Unfortunately, the commander-in-chief read the burden of power force 2015 and said he had put the document in an archive. Putting the document in an archive, we have witnessed a lot of ugly incidents in Nigeria, and we realized Nigeria cannot move forward. And by saying that, in my recent interview, I just a way forward for Nigeria. I saw a situation that we don't want to look to the regional conference. Maybe you thought the politicians behind that conference. Why can't you go and dig into 1963 Constitution? The public constitution that was written by our political leaders. And the content of that constitution, we can use this restructuring based on this federating unit we have in Nigeria. The National Conference in 1995 by General Sani Abacha have already structured Nigeria to 6 zones. The 6 zones can be region. And each region, every resources, every money you make in your region, you can donate 25% to the federal. So that will give us a sense of belonging that we have a nation. I can't be a nation that I will become inferior. I can't be that I will become a second-class citizen. I can't be in a nation where nepotism is the highest order of governance. I can't be in a nation where I cannot farm, where people are afraid of certain infiltrating us. I can't be in a nation where somebody will be dictating how we will build our donor security architecture. I can't be in a nation where the nation I can't out of it. The passport of Tanzania, the passport of Togo is even more resourceful than our own passport. So for us to move this country forward, we need to sit down and make sure do something tangible. And how we do? It's our restructure down to a federating. And if it cannot work, let's move to self-determination. There is no crime on self-determination. We can achieve self-determination in a peaceful way on the basis of plebiscite, referendum. We have a plebiscite referendum in Scotland. We have a plebiscite referendum in Quebec, in Canada. Even in France today, there's an island that is looking for a referendum to move out of a nation called France, which is one of which is one of the 6 UN Security Council countries. And even in Indonesia, as big as Indonesia, 5 years ago, a country moved out of Indonesia. Ethiopia was a country before Eritrea out of Ethiopia. We know what happened in Southern Sudan. We don't pray for war. And we know that with the population of 200 million, we can resolve our issue through referendum if we are afraid of restructuring.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for